Hello and welcome to from the mic stand here at MASH in Maxfield here on Arts Echoes. We have just seen a live set from Midland Railway. Now we're going to be chatting to two members of the band. Hello guys, how's it going?
Hello, yeah.
Hello. You enjoy the set and playing live?
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
So normally there's four of you in the band, is there? Or who are we missing?
Oh, that's actually quite a complicated question at the moment.
Right.
So if we sort of have 6 band members, sort of, but it depends on who's available.
Right.
This is quite a long answer actually, so let's hope that we don't bore the listeners too much with this. So we have us. We have Sarah who plays bass and does the backing vocals. We have Kate who plays guitar, and we also have Terry, who's been playing drums with us, although he's a sort of interim drummer because he's got another band, but we're actually looking for a permanent drummer. Any drummers watching who like our stuff, get in touch. And we have Rob, who was one of the founder members of Midland Railway, and he's moved up to Scotland, so he doesn't get to play with us too often, but he's still involved in some of the creative process, so he's kind of involved despite us not seeing him very much.
And for those listeners who are brand new to the band, just want to tell us a bit about you guys?
Oh God, where do we start with this? What do you think people will want to know? Let's see. So we're based in Manchester. I guess musically, we've been going in various forms since. Well, we did our first ever gig in 2004. So we've been going for quite a long time, but we're currently nearing completion of our first album. So it's been a long time in the making. So hopefully that will hopefully the quality will reflect that. We really enjoy playing and got quite a few gigs coming up.
Sure.
I don't know how well that answers the question. There's a lot of ways we could go from this, isn't there? I suppose. Influences. Should I okay. One of my biggest influences, like sound-wise, has been Weezer, which probably didn't come across so much on the acoustic version, I imagine, tonight. But I really like the sort of the kind of really really heavy but kind of nice bright kind of guitar sounds and the riffs and really cool solos and stuff. And then my biggest lyrical influences are probably Bright Eyes and the Magnetic Fields. I've actually, a lot of the music I listen to is actually ridiculously miserable. In fact, a lot of the songs I write kind of come out either really miserable or just completely insane and with not much middle ground.
Right.
So if that's your sort of thing, then you know.
And you were on the show last year, so what have you been up to over this past year?
So during that time, we've done loads and loads of gigs, which has been great actually. I felt like. After such a long break, it was like relearning performing to some extent.
Right.
In that the first gig that we did after the lockdown, I remember I thought we could play the stuff okay, but it felt like we'd just forgotten how to perform it a bit, and it's been quite noticeable that crowds have reacted a bit better to us as we've gone on, and I think that's partly the performing, but also just. It'll be interesting to see how the songs have sounded tonight compared with our performance last year, actually, because I don't know, some of them make little subtle improvements without really noticing at the time. So other than the lots of gigs, we've done quite a bit more recording as well, and so new single coming out on the 22nd. That's going to be on all the vaguely popular streaming platforms, Spotify and various different things. Please do listen to it. So. A week on Friday.
Where have you been doing the recording?
So that one that's coming out next week is that was at Redbridge Studios in Bolton,
right?
With a guy called Neil, who I've known for quite a long time actually, and he's a very very good producer. So if you're watching Neil, we've also been doing some which our friend Kyle is producing. He also plays guitar in a band called Endings, who we're playing with actually, also at the end of next week. But he's that's at Atmo in Manchester, and Kyle is he kind of has a little home studio and he really knows his stuff, and so that's been really good. And then we're off into another different studio in June, one called Bad Fox up in Rochdale. So going around the studios. But it's sort of it depends on people's availability and in a way, I don't know. You can learn different stuff from different people as well. So it's can be quite good to record with different people, I think, because you just learn different techniques that work and that you can then apply to other recordings. So hopefully this will result in gradual improvement.
Yeah.
And I've done a bit of songwriting, maybe not quite as much as I would have ideally liked to, but tonight we played the song called "She Loves Bunny," which is a new one, and that's been a bit of a crowd favourite actually. It's probably the one that's had the best crowd reaction since we added it to the set. So that's it's been kind of, I don't know, reassuring that we can add a new song to the set and it still and that's.
And you said you've been working on a new album, or your first album.
Yeah.
So how have you chosen songs for that? And
it's basically all the stuff that's been part of the set for so many years, really. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of
catalogue.
Yeah, our sort of catalogue is. We've kind of got, I suppose, a set and a bit of songs that we. What's the best term for it? Of the songs that we think are our sort of best set, I would say, and best, ones that we'd be happy to have on an album, and then there's a few others that we could play maybe that we're not so sure about. So maybe with a few tweaks we might be able to, I don't know, make them a bit better. I don't know. So
second album.
Yeah, possibly, or B-sides if they're not good enough for the second one. I don't know. It depends on how good the stuff we write is, I suppose. So.
And I think these songs evolved a lot over the years. You've been playing them for quite some time.
Yeah, in some cases, some more than others. It's random. Sometimes you can just end up having a particular idea for a song you've been playing for years, and it adds something quite significant to it. And the song I wrote in 2006, where it's Bedroom Analysis actually, which we didn't play tonight, but we played. It was on last time we played here.
Yeah.
The second song, should you want to go back and watch the video. And the lead part on that was 4 years later, and I thought of it when I was at Glastonbury and found they have a piano in the and a bunch of other kind of instruments around the in the sort of the really hippie area where there's a table tennis table which I kind of enjoyed to get a bit of exercise in there. And so I was there with David, who played drums with the band for so many years, and I showed David the chords and got to play the chords so I could try the lead part I had in mind on the piano that was there, and I was like, yeah, this works, and that's kind of been the lead part since, and it's definitely added an extra level to the song. So yeah, that's probably the most extreme example. But then, I suppose one of the other things that can be quite. There are some advantages, I suppose, of having had a few changes to the lineup, because you just get different ideas on the same songs.
Yeah,
and sometimes
everyone's got their own style, their own bit to bring to it.
Yeah, and sometimes people do just spot something new. So like Some Kind of Bet has the not tonight, but we've got the harmonies that we have on the live version, which and they're quite a new thing actually. I think we came up with those last year. So yeah.
And you said you've been playing quite a lot of gigs recently. What have been some of your favourite venues to perform at?
So Atma is one of my favourites of all. That's what I'm playing, which is also conveniently where we're playing the next one. And I like that. So Atma in Manchester is quite a good size. It's not so big that it doesn't feel that it doesn't have that kind of atmosphere. It feels quite lively without having to have loads and loads of people there to stop it feeling empty. But it's also got quite a nice high stage, and so it kind of feels like you're playing quite a big spectacular venue, even though it's not actually that big. So I think that's pretty cool. We played an acoustic gig at a place called the Tallyland in Levenstein recently, and that was one of our most fun ones. Yeah, along with tonight was really fun actually. This is as far as in German goes, this one's right up there, I think. Let's see, we played the Night and Day in December, and which is a sort of one of Manchester's kind of more classic venues. We're actually coming down to Macclesfield in start of June for playing Swanload at the Swan with Two Necks. So everyone this Sunday. So any of those of you watching in Macclesfield, if you'd be ready to come and see us there.
Great. And is there anyone you've played with recently that's really impressed you, or you've really enjoyed listening to?
There's been quite a few bands I think that have been that have been really surprisingly good by for bands that aren't massively famous generally. we've actually on our Spotify page we've actually put together a compilation of songs by bands that we played with,
Right.
and so if you fancy a fairly easy way to just sort of sample some of our favourites, so on there. I mean, which
Who's playing with us on
at Hammer, so we've got Thoroughbow, who they're a fantastically entertaining band live, and we have Endings, which is Kyle's band. They're sort of quite sort of melodic emo, and their songs are really catchy actually. They take a bit.
Dolly Shakes as well.
Dolly Shakes are really good. Yeah, they played with us at our last one at Atma, and they've got some absolutely brilliant songs. Yeah. A particular favourite of mine is one they have about. It's like health and safety advice for someone visiting Sunnydale in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it's like a fantastic pop song with absolutely brilliant lyrics. It's
And do you want to remind people where they can find your music and your upcoming dates?
Okay, so we've got depending on what your social media preference is, we have Facebook, Instagram. We've got the Linktree page. We've got a YouTube page. Actually, you won't find the dates on the YouTube page. Actually, that's but either Facebook or Instagram. Our tag is Midland Railway Band, and from either of those pages you can find the Linktree page, which just has links to everything, including all the other pages and types of page. Social media is confusing these days, isn't it? And it's got ticket links for all the upcoming gigs and everything as well, and it's got the last session that we played here.
Right.
So yeah, it's like that's kind of the one-stop shop to find everything really.
And you said you've got a single and some gigs coming up recently. Just want to remind people.
So we've got so the single it's kind of our single launch gig on the 22nd at Manchester. So yeah, that's the big one that we're sort of thinking about most at the moment.
Yeah.
But then next month is going to be a really interesting month for us. I think we're playing at the Retro Bar in Manchester, and then we're off to there's a festival at the Cavern Club and Pub in Liverpool, which is called International Pop Overthrow, and that is actually a genuinely international festival. There's bands from all over the world that come and play there, and it's it tends to be quite a sort of lively place. The guy who runs it, it's called David Bash. He's a great guy. He picks some really good bands to play there as well. So we're playing on the Tuesday the 17th and Sunday the 22nd.
Right.
So we're actually closing the main stage on the last night, which is quite a nice honour. And then in June we're coming to Macclesfield.
Yep.
So that's our sort of live upcoming stuff that we've got going on.
Great. Well, thanks for coming on the show this evening, and really enjoyed your set. And we'll be back on sometime.
Well, no, thank you ever so much for having us along. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Last time you asked, I remember you asked for a really interesting train fact.
Oh, right.
Okay. So in preparation for tonight, I tried to think of a really, really interesting train fact.
Yeah.
And I did. I've got one.
Okay.
You sure? But do you want to know it?
Yeah.
You don't have to. So I thought of one that's kind of that will something reasonably accessible which just won't be too sort of what's the about something. So now most people are familiar with Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, right? And in that in the series of books, you all know who the fastest engine is, or do you?
Oh yeah.
Who do you think it is?
Yeah.
This would be like a QI question, wouldn't it?
I don't.
So the expresses are all pulled by Gordon, the big engine, who is based on an A3 Pacific type as used by the London North Eastern Railway. Now Henry is actually based on a Great Western Castle class, and a lot of the railway companies did a sort of locomotive exchange in 1928 to sort of try and learn a bit from each other, and the Castle massively outperformed the A3 Pacific in terms of like time, keeping the timetables and fuel efficiency and everything. So in all probability, if the locomotives in Thomas the Tank Engine performed the way that the one they're based on did, Henry would probably be able to keep to a better schedule when hauling the express than Gordon. So they're actually using the wrong train to pull the expresses. So. I think
Very interesting.
Who wouldn't find that interesting? I mean, So those of you who have watched this interview to the end, sorry.
We learn something new every day, don't we? Well, thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.